Welcome back to Pipes Etc. Glad you could stop by. This is episode number 10. As you're probably aware, there are quite a few ways pipe tobacco blends are categorized. Everyone has a different experience, and therefore, they relate to blends from a different perspective, myself included. In this episode, I will be discussing how I categorize pipe tobacco blends. So kick back, relax, and let's see where we agree or perhaps even disagree. One, two, one, two, three. My view of pipe tobacco blends has been shaped over the years by my own experiences and the experiences shared with me by my fellow pipe smoking friends. I'll admit, it was a bit of a cloistered community, and I had not fully ventured out into the new world of blends till about 4 or 5 years ago. When I did, I was simply amazed at the number of choices out there. So, in order to make better choices, I decided to try and learn more about them before deciding to buy any of them. I suppose my many years in sales and marketing have influenced me in how I look at many things, including most every retail product, pipe tobacco included. When I see a multifaceted issue, I confront it by breaking it down into more manageable pieces. And this is where the idea of developing my blend categories originated. I separate the blends and evaluate each on its own merits to find out which I do and don't prefer. Using this particular method of evaluation led me to one interesting realization. There are relatively few tobacco leaf types and methods to make them, but there are literally hundreds of blends available to the pipe smoker. So, are they really that different? Maybe so. But can I tell the difference, or does something like familiarity or brand loyalty come into play here? To address this question, let's look at it from a marketing perspective by looking at how laundry detergents are marketed. Companies that sell these laundry products have many brand names. One would think that they offer very different products depending on the particular needs of the consumer. They usually come in two forms, liquid and powder. Other than that, there are really very few differences other than how coarse the powder is or what color or fragrance they have. And of course, the catchy name and colorful packaging with text describing the product as new, improved, better. But in reality, nothing is different other than the name, packaging, and perhaps the fragrance or color. The reasons companies like Procter & Gamble do this is to fill up shelf space at the retail outlet and to give the buyer that they have the sense that they have choices. But the real reason is that they are in a very competitive market and want to carve out and hold on to their share. By having multiple brands crammed on the shelves with limited space, chances are you're going to buy one of their products. So is this even somewhat true in the marketing of pipe tobacco? Maybe. I wasn't sure, so I set out to try and find answers. To do this, I read as much as I could about the blends and then started placing them under the corresponding category headings. Not as easy as it sounds, as there are many blends and a number of confusing terms to deal with. What I realize is that historically, the pipe tobacco industry most certainly worked to create a certain image. Manly pursuits like hunting and fishing, gentlemen sitting around smoking a pipe while having a cocktail with friends in a smoking lounge. Or they project images of days gone by, Sherlock Holmes. Images like that come to mind. But when you peel away all the imagery, what is left? Are they like laundry detergents? Simple variations on a theme to increase a company's offerings, fill up shelf space? Or are there new and improved blends that make you feel that you must have it or feel left out? Another tactic. Are these different blends noticeably different to the majority of those that buy them? And do these blenders truly work that hard on the actual product enough to deserve our support? Or is it just good marketing? To answer all this, I created this system in order to find out for myself. One thing is, I found that there are quite a few blends that are very close, if not identical. Peter Stokkebye Luxury Bullseye Flake compared to Camoys of London Cask No. 7, or perhaps even Escudo or Davidoff Flake medallions. Are they noticeably different? Do they taste that different? Do they perform differently? Well, you be the judge. Peter Stokkebye Camoys Cask No. 7 and Escudo are made by Scandinavian Tobacco Group. Davidoff is made by Orlik, which is under Lane Limited and is owned by, you got it, Scandinavian Tobacco Group. In this age of corporate consolidation, many brands that were once competitors are now owned by the same company. So why keep these brands alive? Is it because of brand loyalty or the need to have multiple brands on the shelf? Perhaps. Or is it that the blenders can truly offer products that are that distinctly different? But before we get too far in the weeds here, I'll say that the industry is changing and companies are looking for ways to hold market share while remaining profitable and viable in this world of anti-tobacco rhetoric. Hence, the tobacco companies, they must focus on reduced risk products. And this supposedly addressed the societal change and our newfound public health and gender identity awareness. Yes, gender identity. Tobacco companies not only have to deal with the attack on one's right to buy and smoke tobacco, but now they are fighting to maintain their image of the pipe and cigar smoker. How long have we been hearing about manliness being castigated while the more feminine-like male and feminism itself are being promoted as more socially acceptable? Hunting is bad. Traditional male behavior is bad. The very image of the traditional male, including the pipe smoker, is being denigrated right along with these products itself. Something to think about. Anyway, I will go into more about the state of the industry in an upcoming video, so I'll leave it there for now. Until then, I am leaving a link in the bucket that will take you to an article published by those in the anti-tobacco movement. Proof that the nanny state is going global. Back to the topic. Corporate consolidation and brand loyalty are just one side of the story. Yes, there are many blends that are either identical or very similar, but there are also a good many blends that are quite distinctive. One needs only to look at as far as the offerings of Rattray's, L.J. Peretti, or Boswell's to see that there are some truly exceptional blends that bear little resemblance to any others. No, I'm not saying that there aren't other blenders with this distinction in their blends, but I will say many seem to be quite similar. Take, for example, Cornell and Deal's Exhausted Rooster and GLP's Cumberland. Both are Kentucky, Virginia, and Perique blends. Exhausted Rooster is a flake, while Cumberland is a coarse cut. How different are they? Is the method of preparation what separates them? One being a flake, one coarse cut. Is it enough to affect the performance of the blend so that the smoking experience is that discernibly different? I guess one must decide for themselves. Nevertheless, Finding the ones you truly enjoy is a lifelong pursuit and part of the enjoyment we pipe smokers get from this pastime. Having this methodology of categorizing blends may seem like I'm overthinking this, but it has made it easier for me when deciding on whether or not to try a new blend. Simple as that. Since there are so many blends to evaluate, culling out the duplicates or near duplicates saves time and money, allowing me to enjoy the ones better suited to my tastes. When I first look over a new blend, or one new to me, I read the description. If it's an aromatic or contains something like deer tongue or tonkin bean, it never even makes the list. Those are the simple ones. Many are not so simple. Anyway, let's get back to blend categories itself. And here's the list of how I categorize the different blend types. As said, you may have a different take on this, but everyone has a different perspective depending on one's past experiences. Under each category or subcategory are my number one choices so far. Many are changing as some brands like McClellan are no longer available, or I never ventured into that category enough to have a favorite. For example, the Burley. Instead, you will see the next challenge pairing. For those of you unfamiliar with these challenge episodes, I am doing head-to-head comparisons to find blends for the number one spot in each category. Along with the challenge, I'll frequently suggest a suitable beverage pairing as well. And let me offer some clarifications about how I understand the blend components. First, Burley and Kentucky are separated, even though they are technically the same leaf. Kentucky is a specially treated burley tobacco, originally produced in Kentucky, and is fire cured. Burley is not fire cured. Similarly, Perique is a type of red burley, but undergoes a very different processing, which brings about its very different and distinct flavor and aroma. All have quite different flavor profiles, as do Virginias: red, orange, lemon, etc. And especially when compared to Cavendish, that is made from Virginia leaf. As for Cavendish, it is a process of curing and cutting tobacco leaf and does not refer to a particular tobacco, but again, the type of manufacturing process. Usually it is flue or fire-cured bright Virginias, but can be burley or a combination of the two. Black Cavendish is a version where casings are added. They impart a particularly sweet taste like cherry, vanilla, or even rum. More on adding rum later. And last, cigar leaf. Though not as popular as other tobacco leaf blends, it does have its followers. The flavors, they vary from mellow, as with Dominican tobaccos, to Honduran tobaccos, which are generally medium to full, or the Nicaraguan, which tend to be much fuller and richer. When you look at this list of categories, you'll no doubt notice that the use of terms such as English blend or Balkan blend are nowhere to be seen. The reason is that I find them to be ambiguous and confusing, and instead prefer to categorize them by the tobacco leaf or process by which they are made. For example, Cavendish, Perique, Latakia blend instead of English, etc. This way, I hope to mitigate any confusion about the blend and its flavor profile. Another instance is eliminating the term Balkan, as very few, if anyone, can actually agree on exactly what is a Balkan and how it is different than in English. Yes, I'll admit my use of Scottish fits here, but for my use, I define it as a blend containing Cavendish, Virginia, Latakia, Orientals, and perhaps but not always, Perique. Plus, it is not as Latakia-forward as other similar blends, and it has a sweeter flavor. I tend to use Oriental as a term for tobacco of this region, and it does include Turkish tobaccos as well as those from Greece, Bulgaria, Lebanon, and Macedonia. There's a bunch of them. The specific tobaccos are listed here: Izmir, Yedinci, Basma, Katarini, Yaka, Drama, etc. Perhaps Cyprian Latakia should be here too, but the fire-cured large leaf of Cyprian Latakia is quite different from the sun-dried smaller leaf variety of tobaccos from the region we commonly refer to as the Orientals. And by the way, Oriental started as a Europe-centric term long used to refer to anything belonging to or from the East, geographically speaking, mostly the Middle East and South Asia. So in this context, it does include the Balkans. And that concludes our geography lesson for today. Of course, I have not mentioned a number of other lesser used tobaccos like Maryland, Brazilian, Rustica, or particular cigar tobaccos, such as Corojo, Bahia, or Criollo, because this would be really getting away from the scope of what I intended for this video. Perhaps if there is any interest, I can address those in another video. Many consider blends aged in rum, whiskey, or other spirits to be aromatics, but I don't. I have them under a specific category I now call Navy Cavendish. I keep going back and forth with different monikers, but now I have stuck on this one, mostly because the McClellan blend with this name is out of the picture, at least for now. Nonetheless, this is my list of pipe tobacco blend categories. Certainly there will be some disagreement, but any comments posted may have enough merit to have me modify the list, or at least start that conversation. As a reminder to those interested in outdoor activities such as hunting, fishing, camping, and the like, I posted my intro for my other channel, Backroads, etc., and will be posting a new video next week. It was to be a review of on the Uzi, as I had promised, but the way YouTube views such videos, I've chosen to wait on posting that one for now. Instead, it will be a story about a friend's real-life experience in a situation where preparedness was key to his safety. I'm sure you will find this story very interesting. Also, the next challenge will be between a new blend for me, Slim's Counselor 1695, and the vapor holding the #1 spot for me, GLP's Telegraph Hill. So if interested in this or other upcoming videos, click the bell image to receive notifications for any new videos I posted on either channel. Well, that's all for this 10th episode of Pipes, etc. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up. If you have the opportunity, please join in and add to the conversation by adding your comments. Thank you for stopping by Pipes, etc., and I hope you will again. Until then, good day.